From the glittering spotlights of Hollywood's golden age to the quiet shadows of eternity, the lives of the stars were nothing short of spectacular. But for some, even death had to be a performance. They lived larger than life, adored by millions, sculpted by fame, and trapped by their own legends. Yet, when the curtain finally fell, many of these icons made one last request that was as eccentric, heartfelt, or downright bizarre as their careers had been. Today, we're peeling back the velvet curtain to reveal the 17 strangest final burial wishes of old Hollywood's brightest and most mysterious souls. From ashes scattered in champagne glasses to graves guarded by music, these final acts reveal a truth few ever dared to see. Behind every glamorous face was a human being yearning for immortality. So, dim the lights, cue the orchestra, and prepare for one final encore, because the show isn't over until the last wish is fulfilled. If this kind of story touches your heart, if you're someone who cares about truth, responsibility, and speaking up for the voiceless, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with someone who should hear it. Let's get started. 1. Marilyn Monroe, the eternal perfume of fame. Even in death, Marilyn Monroe refused to fade. The blonde bombshell, who embodied desire itself, made a final wish that was as haunting as it was poetic. She wanted her crypt filled with the scent of Chanel No. 5, the perfume she once told interviewers she wore to bed. Her grave in Westwood Memorial Park remains adorned with lipstick-stained notes, perfume bottles, and flowers, left by fans who still whisper her name. In a way, Marilyn's wish came true. The air around her final resting place still carries her memory, fragrant and immortal. 2. Humphrey Bogart, the lucky charm of love. Before his passing, Humphrey Bogart made a surprisingly tender request to be buried with a tiny gold whistle, the one engraved by his wife, Lauren Bacall, with the words, "If you want anything, just whistle." It was a callback to their first film together, To Have and Have Not, where Bacall teased him with that same unforgettable line. Bogart's final wish wasn't about fame, it was about love. And when Bacall died decades later, she was buried with a small whistle of her own. Hollywood's most iconic romance had found its eternal duet. 3. Walt Disney, the cryogenic myth. Few Hollywood legends have inspired as much speculation as Walt Disney's final request. While he was officially cremated and interred at Forest Lawn Cemetery, persistent rumors claimed he had arranged to have his body cryogenically frozen beneath Disneyland itself, awaiting the day science could revive him. Though the truth remains that Disney was cremated, the legend lives on. A fitting irony for a man whose imagination refused to die. 4. Bela Lugosi, Dracula's eternal costume. When the master of horror, Bela Lugosi, passed away in 1956, his family honored his chilling final wish to be buried in his full Dracula costume, cape, medallion, and all. It was as if the line between actor and character had dissolved completely. Even in death, Lugosi remained the Count, hauntingly elegant, mysterious, and immortal in black satin. Visitors to his grave still leave tiny bats and red roses, tributes to a man who turned fear into art. 5. Elizabeth Taylor, the fashionably late departure. The ever-dazzling Elizabeth Taylor was famous for two things: her beauty and her punctuality, or rather her lack of it. So, when she died, her final wish was perfectly on brand: to arrive at her own funeral 15 minutes late. The service began as planned, but the coffin, per her instructions, arrived fashionably late. It was Liz's last wink to the world, a final performance of glamour and irony. 6. Tony Curtis, buried with a cell phone and a Stetson. Tony Curtis, the silver screen charmer of Some Like It Hot, requested to be buried with a collection of his most personal treasures: a Stetson hat, a pair of driving gloves, an iPhone, and his favorite novel. It was as if Curtis wanted to be ready for the next adventure, a cowboy, a reader, a modern man even in eternity. His grave became a shrine not to fame, but to personality, the relics of a life lived on his own terms. 7. Jean Harlow, the White Goddess. Hollywood's original platinum blonde, Jean Harlow, had a deep fascination with purity and light. Before her untimely death at 26, she told her mother she wanted everything about her funeral to be white: her casket, her flowers, even the guests' attire. Her final request was honored to perfection. The entire service shimmered like a scene from one of her films, ethereal, tragic, unforgettable. Harlow became what she always dreamed of being, an angel in white. 8. Clark Gable, resting beside his true love. The King of Hollywood, Clark Gable, made a heartfelt final wish that reflected his lifelong devotion to actress Carole Lombard. After her tragic death in a plane crash, Gable insisted that when his time came, he be buried beside her. Years later, when Gable passed, he was laid to rest exactly as he had wished, next to Lombard at Forest Lawn. Their love story, cut short in life, was finally reunited in death. 9. James Doohan, Ashes Among the Stars. Though best known for his role as Scotty in Star Trek, James Doohan's real final frontier was space itself. His wish was to have his ashes scattered beyond Earth's atmosphere. In 2012, SpaceX quietly fulfilled that wish, carrying a portion of his remains aboard a Falcon 9 rocket. Doohan literally became part of the cosmos, a fitting ending for the man who helped us beam up. 10. Jane Mansfield, The Hollywood Monument. The bombshell Jane Mansfield, forever in the shadow of Monroe, made a final wish that blended vanity and tragedy. She wanted her grave to be unmissable. Her pink marble heart-shaped tombstone in Pennsylvania fulfills that perfectly, bold, glamorous, and impossible to overlook. Visitors still bring roses and lipstick prints, honoring the star who refused to disappear quietly. 11. Bing Crosby, The Simple Goodbye. While many stars planned elaborate farewells, crooner Bing Crosby chose simplicity. His last request was for a private funeral with no Hollywood fanfare. He wanted only his family, golf clubs, and a priest. That's how it should be, he'd said, quiet and humble. His simple burial was his final ballad, soft, dignified, and in perfect rhythm with his character. 12. Joan Crawford, A Cold Goodbye. Known for her fierce control, Joan Crawford left strict instructions for her funeral. No tears, no apologies, and absolutely no mention of her estranged daughter, Christina. It was a chilling reflection of the actress's lifelong battle with image and perfection. Even in death, Crawford staged her departure like a meticulously directed scene. Cold, commanding, unforgettable. 13. Cecil B. DeMille, buried beside the spotlight. The legendary filmmaker behind the Ten Commandments wanted a resting place that captured his obsession with grandeur. His grave, illuminated by a sculpted bronze torch, symbolized the eternal light of creation. To DeMille, death wasn't darkness, it was simply the closing of one scene before the next production began. 14. George Burns, A Cigar and a Joke. Comedian George Burns lived to be 100, and his final request was pure Burns. He wanted to be buried with his favorite cigar and a single joke written on a slip of paper tucked into his pocket. The joke's content remains unknown, but perhaps that's the punchline. One last laugh, known only to him. 15. Fred Astaire, The Dance Continues. Fred Astaire, the man who danced through Hollywood's golden age, asked to be buried wearing his tap shoes. He believed the rhythm of life didn't end with death, it merely changed tempo. It's said that visitors sometimes place pairs of shoes at his grave, a tribute to a man who made even heaven feel like a dance floor. 16. Betty Grable, The Pinup Pose. Before she passed, Betty Grable reportedly requested that her ashes be interred with a photo of herself in her iconic World War II pinup pose, the image that once hung in barracks around the world. Her reasoning was simple: that's how they remember me. That's how I'll stay. Her grave at Inglewood Park Cemetery stands as a testament to confidence, nostalgia, and eternal youth. 17. Audie Murphy, The Hero's Rest. Hollywood's most decorated war hero turned movie star, Audie Murphy had one humble request: to be buried among his fellow soldiers, not in Hollywood, but at Arlington National Cemetery. He refused special honors or celebrity distinction, only the same white cross as every other soldier. Visitors today still leave medals and flags beside his grave, a silent salute to humility, bravery, and grace. And so, the final curtain falls, not on a stage, but on the world's most legendary performers. Some wished to keep their spotlight shining forever, others longed for peace in the shadows. But together, their stories reveal something profoundly human. That fame, no matter how grand, cannot outshine the soul's desire to be remembered with meaning. Each grave, each urn, each whispered wish is more than a final statement. It's a message to the living. Marilyn's perfume, Gable's devotion, Taylor's mischievous lateness, all remind us that death doesn't erase personality, it amplifies it. Old Hollywood was a world of illusion, yet in their final acts, these stars stripped away the glamour and left us something real, their truth. Perhaps that's why their names still echo through time. They remind us that the greatest performance any of us can give isn't on stage or on screen. It's the way we choose to say goodbye. As the lights dim on this story, we realize one thing: in Hollywood, the curtain never truly closes.